The last trend of this session would be reimagining value networks. We all know that multiple crises have been faced globally, like COVID-19 pandemic, geopolitical chaos, which is still not over yet, climate change. The threats have started to be suffered in many regions, and so on. These crises have highlighted vulnerabilities in the global value networks, and that's why businesses are working very hard towards reshaping and risk proofing their value chains. One of the approaches within this trend is value chain compression, where the objective is to cater to the customer ecosystem. So basically, this method is more consumer centric and it eliminates intermediaries, which significantly reduce the number of, um, as a result, it reduces the total number of steps in the customer journey. One example to quote here is Nike and its initiatives to push into the direct to customer market. And as a result, this company has seen revenue growth increasing from 16% of overall sales in 2011 to 35% in 2020. Another interesting trend identified within the value networks is presumption economy. In this approach, consumer plays a significant role, having a direct impact in the market. Uh, why do we call this as presumption? Because the prosumer here is both producer as well as consumer. Currently, the prosumer economy persists mostly within the energy market. It is just an initiating level. The most common technology for prosumers right now is rooftop solar panel. So this is something that has been trending around consumers, and there is more to come in the future. Let's talk about the sustainable side of these value networks. Concerns around environmental degradation have made sustainability the focal point, and the importance of circular value chain among businesses has increased. Globally, businesses are moving from a linear model to circular value chain as it characterizes sustainable initiatives. Just to give an overview for those who do not know, circularity refers to the ability to retrieve a product at its end of use cycle through recycle, repurpose, resell, or maybe reuse of the product. This eliminates waste generation, giving a second life, kind of a second life to the products. Nowadays, companies are forced to adopt a circular supply chain model due to pressure from government as well as the consumers. Last but not the least, platformization. This enables the exchange of goods or services by connecting multiple ecosystem contributors online. These could be many buyers and sellers. Platforms can connect wide range of different contributors. A very basic example for this trend would be of Uber, which is considered as a three-way platform. It combines users, couriers, and businesses. With respect to the trend outlook, um, in the short run, presumption has already boosted the influencer economy. Apart from the energy markets that we just discussed, influencer economy is a place where this trend is seen rising significantly. Uh, in the influencer economy, consumers are also content producers on social media platforms like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, etc. Um, and in the midterm, we anticipate that the circular supply chain model will be an essential part of all the businesses, as there will be a major push towards sustainability from initiator economies like the European Union. And there is also a high stress on the reporting, ESG reporting, and investing situation. In the long run, a hyper distributed value chain is anticipated to emerge where all the ecosystem participants will interact simultaneously, while traditional participants like distributors would shrink. So in this megatrend, we have covered various aspects of value chain, capturing the technology aspect, sustainability aspect, and how the consumer behavior is changing bringing about a change in the dynamics of value network. So this was all about mega trends. Let's discuss some potential threats that can arise in the future with regard to the few of the mega trends that we have just discussed. Now talking about advanced computing and communication, with greater reliance on modern technology comes higher risks. As we all know, advancement of AI is shaping up character of businesses and industries. Um, but one of the major cons of this technology would be unethical use. And there will be a pressing need from government side to set some uniform regulatory standards around the use of this technology. Uh, Moreover, a high risk of data security will continue to persist among the consumers. So for these reasons, economies of US and European Union are working towards developing a standard framework around the use of AI, while the emerging economies are busy innovating towards these technologies. Now, apart from cyber attacks, there is another threat this technology is leading to, that is a huge gap among economies as well as businesses. The gap will exist between businesses that have access to this modern technology and those which cannot afford to access this technology. Now, overall, the role of government, policymakers, and businesses come to play here to define the AI utilization frameworks and to build a robust cybersecurity network. Also, job displacement due to automation is another risk that this trend is posing. But for this reskilling, for this particular threat, reskilling and upskilling can be conducted to which can be avoided to a certain extent. Now, another trend that will cut down the employment opportunities, specifically in the oil and gas sector, is rising adoption of limitless clean energy. This is posing major threat to related companies in the oil and utilities industries. And for this also, individuals might need to upskill and possess skills relevant to green jobs. Again, there is also a risk of bifurcation of societies based on accessibility to clean energy sources. Now, when it comes to global growth centers, Africa is at the focal point currently. Um, but there is a risk of geopolitical tensions aggravating and higher resource exploitation from increased FDI inflows. This will could disbalance the economy a bit when it comes to from an environmental perspective, leading to environmental degradation and over exploitation of resources. Okay, that is all from my end for this session. We will continue to enlighten you with rest of the mega trends in the next session. But for this session, I would like to hand over this conversation to Malvika for her concluding remarks. Thank you for listening patiently.